On behalf of the School of CET, MIT I welcome you to this session on design and development of chatbot. Although Sir is a familiar face, let me introduce our guest for today. Yogesh Murumkar Sir is a computer engineer and has completed his graduation and post-graduation from Pune University. He has worked for Capgemini India for 4 years and worked with clients like Barclays and S. Punky Bank. He is a data scientist and BDA enthusiast with more than 10 years of experience, including IT and teaching and training experience. And now he is a corporate trainer for ML, blockchain, data science, and BDA. He has successfully trained more than 300 participants for global certification in data science and big data analytics by Dell EMC. He has also trained a batch of 100 students and professionals for certification exams in data science and BDA at Interdisciplinary School of Scientific Computing and Department of School of Energy Studies at Pune University. Mr. Murumkar is also a Microsoft certified Python developer. He has good hands-on skills, including tools and technologies like Unix, Tableau License, Power BI, Hadoop, HBase, Hive, Pig, SQL, R and R Studio. He has been conducting various training and workshops related to ML, deep learning, blockchain, BDA, and data science for students, professionals at various colleges and universities. Now, I request Murumkar sir to please begin with the session.
Okay, thank you, Rojan. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, good morning, all of you. So, as she has already told you, and you can see today's topic written here, right? You are already informed about this particular topic already, creating chatbots. So, let's see how to create the chatbots, and let's try to make this particular session as informative as possible. Let's see all the basic concepts behind how to develop a chatbot, right? And if madam, if you are there, just let me know if participants are more than 100. I will send you the YouTube link also, right? So I can see there are about 45 people who have joined till now, 46. So just let me know. Okay, guys, let me put an agenda in front of you. That is, what are the things which we are going to discuss, and then one by one we will try to cover all of them. And as I hope you might have received this particular document, this PDF, all of you must have received, right? So, and you might have received the code also. So I will tell you how to make use of all those things. Right? Let me tell you one thing. Just try to observe whatever I am trying to do here. Everything is actually given to you, or maybe if something is required, definitely that will be sent to you. No problem, right? But one thing is for sure that once you try to understand all the things, whatever I am trying to show you here, you people will be able to create your own chatbots. That's for sure, right? Obviously, it is just for uh, it is just a matter of trying. Once you try it out, definitely you people will also be able to develop the chatbots. Okay, and there are different platforms. That's what I will try to talk about, and I will use one platform because we have some time limitation. So I will use one platform, and on the basis of that, we will try to develop our chatbot. Right? Let me just create space here. So I hope everyone is able to see a black screen. Let me just put an agenda in front of you. What I am trying to discuss in these two sessions. Right. So as you know that. The sessions are divided into two parts. This is the first session. So let me tell you what are we going to discuss in both of the sessions. The first thing I want to put in front of you is agenda. Right. I hope everyone is able to see my screen. If someone is not able to see, just let me know in the chat box. The first thing which we are going to discuss is text analytics, which you people have already done. So I will just try to go through it. I will just try to give you the names of the libraries which can be used for text analytics, which talks about natural language processing, and which talks about NLTK, right? Natural Language Toolkit. And there is one more library that is called as Spacey. So it is not like that there is only NLTK. There are other libraries also which can be used for natural language processing, like can be used for creating chatbots. Okay, so I will just try to go through that particular file. As I have been told that you people are already aware about NLTK. So That is going to help definitely. Second thing I am going to talk about is there is a library, right? I told you that there is something called as Spacey Library. So there is one method which is called as en underscore core underscore web underscore sm. So this is actually a library. So this is actually a library which can be used for natural language processing. Like in terms of chatbots, this is very useful. As NLTK is used, again Spacey can also be used. So this is the method which is used actually in case of Spacey libraries. Right. So I will show you. Actually, I have developed a project based on this particular thing, which actually is going to do what we can say the sentiment analysis. Right. If we get time, we will discuss this. Otherwise, I will just try to show you only one statement in that project, that how it is being used. Right. So it all depends on how much time we will get at the end. So if we get time, generally I will move to this particular point. And then I will start with the actual topic, and that is nothing but chatbot, building a chatbot, how to build a chatbot, what is a chatbot, what are the types of chatbots. So that's what we are going to see. So here, what I have done is, in my case, I have already created the chatbot, right? So I will be showing you some basic things, some hands-ons definitely, and then I will be moving forward and I will be showing you how I have developed the chatbot, and even you people will also be able to make use of my chatbot, right? So chatbot building, that is the third point I'm going to start with, which for which I'm going to make use of Python. There are some libraries which we are going to make use of here, and even we are going to do the deployment of that chatbot, right? So I will show you how to deploy a chatbot on different what we can say, different platforms or third party softwares which are available. So we will see at least one or two. We will try to see that as per our time. Once that is done, so this is what is going to take more time, chatbot building, right? Because there will be some conceptual things and there will be implementation of that. That's what I want to show it to you, so that you people will also be able to follow me, or maybe after the session you people also will try it out and just try to see that you will be able to develop it or not. If you get difficulty, definitely you can approach. The fourth point which I want to talk about is sentimental analysis. So what are we going to do here is, we are going to make a sentimental analysis. It is one type of a use case we can say, but that will be on live tweets, right, from the Twitter. So what we are going to do here, we are going to fetch live tweets from the Twitter, and then based on those tweets we are going to analyze those tweets, and we do the sentimental analysis on those live tweets. And here for that we are going to make use of R and R Studio. Some of you might be aware about that, right? That's what I came to know, that you people are already aware about this one. So that use case we are going to implement here. The code which you are going to need for doing this is already shared with you. I hope everyone has got the mail, right? And then next, if we get the time, then we will see a simple example how to convert a text to speech. We are already going to discuss this in our chatbot itself, right? But yes, if we get a time, we will see a separate example also how to do that. And as I told about, as I talked about the deployment, right? Deployment, I am going to show it to you for a chatbot. So for deployment, I am going to make use of different platforms. We are going to deploy our chatbot onto Telegram. All of you must be using Telegram, and we are going to and I'm going to show it to you how to deploy your chatbot on a web or on a web page, or what to do at least, how to deploy your chatbot onto web page. So that also I'm going to show it to you. So I hope everyone is able to understand what are the things which we are going to discuss in this session, right? So out of this, if I want to point out the important things, I will say the chatbot, this one is going to require some time, and yes, this is what we are going to see with the implementation, right? Now obviously, yeah, I'm going to show you how to deploy it onto Telegram. So let me tell you what tools or what softwares I'm going to make use of for this one. So basically I'm going to make use of Jupyter window, right? Jupyter notebook, Anaconda, you might be knowing about Anaconda's Jupyter. It is not necessary that you should also make use of this, but just to show you the notes, I'm going to make use of Anaconda's Jupyter. This is what I'm going to make use of. I'm going to make use of one more ID, and that is nothing but PyCharm. So as I told you that we are going to develop the chatbot, so that chatbot is going to have some functionalities, right? So to implement those functionalities, I'm going to make use of an ID that is called as PyCharm. So it will be a separate, what we can say, separate module which we are going to implement in PyCharm ID, and that module we are going to integrate in our chatbot. How? That's what we are going to talk about. Okay. And yes, obviously, for the sentimental analysis, I am going to make use of R and R Studio. Talking about the tools which I am going to make use of, these are all the tools which I am going to make use of in these two sessions. I hope everyone is aware about all these things, right? Jupyter, PyCharm, and RStudio, right? So text analytics, I will show you. Just go through. I will just go through that particular document. Then I will just try to show you how this Spacey library is used or imported, and then I will straightforward start with the chatbot. Basic things I will implement first in front of you, right? And then this one, okay? And finally deployment, which is going to be covered here itself. So I hope everyone is clear. Let me go and let me clear all these things and let me start with the first thing, that is text analytics. So I'm going to clear this. Okay. So first thing I'm going to start is text analytics. As I told you, I'm going to show the notes directly so you can see text analytics. So I hope you people are aware about this particular thing already, but I am just trying to show it to you because this is what we are going to need whenever we talk about natural language processing or NLP. So here, as you can see, as I told you that there are different libraries which we can make use of for text analytics. So NLP, whenever we talk about NLP, chatbot is actually a part of NLP, natural language processing, right? And you know that NLP is a part of AI, artificial intelligence, right? And it is developed for machine learning machines to understand human language. So you know what are the natural languages, like for example, Hindi, right? English. These are the natural languages. So for the processing of those kind of languages, it is actually used. And I hope you people are very much aware about these two libraries which are mentioned here. That is NLTK and Spacey Library. So the point of showing this particular thing to you is that this is what I am going to make use of even for the chatbot functionalities. Okay. So at that time, it should not happen that you are not aware about all these things and I'm just going to discuss. I'm just discussing only, right? So I just want to tell you that these are the things which will be used even in the implementation, functionality implementation of the chatbot. And I hope you are aware about tokenization, sentence tokenization, word tokenization, right? This is how you can go and you can import the analytical library. A very simple example is shown here. And what do you mean by word tokenize? What do you mean by sentence tokenize? Parts of speech tagging, chunking, right? I'm just trying to go through these things fast. There is something called as stop words, like the words like am, is, are, and, or. These are the words which are not going to contribute anything to the meaning, right? Those words are called as stop words. So you know how to get the list of the stop words, and even you can go and you can create the list of the stop words. Okay. And what do you mean by corpus? Corpus is nothing but collection of documents, right? This is how we can import corpus with the help of NLTK. And yes, there are other things which we are going to make use of, which are mentioned here. What is stemming and lemmatization? It is like the stemming and lemmatization, they are going to give the root words. For example, for running, root word is the run. For runs, root word is again run. And for ran also, the root word for the base word is run. That is the thing about stemming and lemmatization. That's what it actually does. So again, those examples are shown here. And yes, lemmatization is also explained. Named entity recognition, then graphs, parsing. These are some of the concepts which are prerequisites, I can say, even if you are going for a chatbot development. And what in vectorization, and there is one algorithm or a method that is called as TF-IDF, which is term frequency, inverse document frequency. What it actually does is it is going to count the number of times a particular word is repeated in a document, right? So that it actually helps to know what is the analysis of that particular document. Depending on if a negative word is repeated many number of times, so the overall sentiment of that particular document is negative, right? So that's what I wanted to show you. I hope you are already aware about that. That's why I just moved to that fast. Okay. Now I told you that next thing I'm going to show you how to make use of one more library that is called a Spacey library. So whatever you are able to see here, what the code, it's actually a Python code. Don't worry about this. Just try to see that this is nothing but PyCharm ID, whatever you are able to see, integrated development environment. And I just want to show you this particular line. See how I am going to import something called as en underscore core underscore wave underscore sm. So what is this actually? It is a text pre-processing Spacey library for English language, right? It's a text pre-processing Spacey library for English language. So as you people are aware about NLTK, somewhat similar to that, right? But obviously there are some differences in the features between NLTK and Spacey Library. That's what I want to show you actually. As I told you that if we get time, we will discuss this particular project, which is actually implemented in Python. So remember, there is something called as en underscore core underscore wave underscore sn, and this is nothing but, I will again repeat, it's a text pre-processing library, which is Spacey library for English language. So this en actually stands for English language. That's what I wanted to tell you about that. Right now, moving to the chatbot directly. So let's start with this creation of chatbots. So let's see what's a chatbot first, right? So in case of chatbots, what am I going to discuss is, let me tell you, I am going to start with what is a chatbot, right? So if we will see a simple definition of a chatbot, what actually it is and why it is used, right? What is the chatbot? Uses of the chatbot I will try to talk about. Then maybe which are the different frameworks which are used to develop the chatbot, with the help of which frameworks you can make use of, or which frameworks you can make use of to develop the chatbots, then how to test your chatbot, and finally how to deploy it. These are some of the things which I am going to talk about. Right. So to start with, let's first of all see what's a chatbot. So as you people are already having this particular document, you can also open it. I'm just trying to make use of some starting pages only. Here you can see. So chatbot fundamentals, right? So what is a chatbot? A chatbot is a software application that mimics conversation with a human in natural languages through various platforms like messaging, websites, mobiles, etc. The chatbot responds by identifying the intent of the conversation and then responding accordingly. So there are some words. For example, there is something called as intent. So we will see what is the meaning of the word intent. We will try to see that. This is the term which we are going to make use of to develop the chatbot. So simple definition of a chatbot, you can see it's a software application that mimics conversation with human in natural languages. So like English, for example, English is a natural language. Natural languages are the languages which humans can understand, as simple as that, right? What is the meaning of the intent? We will try to talk about that one. As we are going to implement a problem statement here, I will be introducing a problem statement also. I will be telling you what problem statement we are going to implement and how. Now see, here in this particular figure, you are able to see simple working. There is a user, right? So there is a chatbot, right? Request will be analyzed, and there is something called as identify intent and entity. So our job is to understand what do you mean by intent and what do you mean by entity. That's what we will try to understand first, and then what it is going to do is it is going to compose a reply, and then it is going to send the reply to the user who has asked some question or query, right? So this is the overview. You can see this is the overview of a chatbot. Now if you want to talk about different types of chatbots, so yes, there are, you can see chatbots can be classified into two categories basically. Okay, so here you can check rule based chatbots are there, and chatbots with natural language understanding. These are the chatbots which are actually mentioned here. So rule based chatbots, what it is, it's an extremely fundamental type of chatbot which generally works on simple if else constructs, and it can respond to only simple predefined queries. That means predefined questions, if they are there, to those questions only these types of chatbots are going to respond or reply. That is called as rule based chatbots. The performance of this application highly depends on programming skills of the developer. Remember this, okay? And chatbots with natural language understanding, at the core, it has a language processing and understanding model with pre-trained instances using something called as deep learning. Even if you are not aware about deep learning, no problem. It can communicate through both text and speech, and this is what we are going to do, text and speech, right? That's what we are going to implement. So try to understand, chatbot is something which is going to mimic, right? It is going to answer some questions depending on the training, or maybe depending on some predefined models or pre-trained models automatically. Now what are the uses of chatbots? There are a lot of uses of chatbots. A simple example if I want to give for a chatbot, right? Many of you might have come across that example many times, right? You might have ordered the food online, right? Maybe you might be knowing about Swiggy, right? That's the best example I can put here. So Swiggy actually using chatbots, they make use of chatbots for complaints. Swiggy make use of chatbots, for example, they make use of chatbots for complaints. Okay, so that's the best example many of you might have used, and on many websites you might have seen the chatbots answering the questions automatically. So these are some of the uses of the chatbots which are mentioned here. Can be used to answer frequently asked questions, can be used for grievance handling, right? Internal organization automation. It can be used in different domains like flight, hotel, appointment bookings, etc. And can guide customers to buy the correct products by answering their questions, and can be used for CRM, that is customer relationship management. These are some of the uses, and advantages are also mentioned here. You can go to those advantages, right? And now let me go to the frameworks which are present. Currently, the frameworks which are present in the market for developing the chatbots. Let me go to that. So see, you can check. There is a framework called as Google Dialogflow. So we will see what is this Google Dialogflow. But the earlier name of Google Dialogflow, if I want to tell you, it was something like API.ai. As I told you that this natural language processing is actually a part of artificial intelligence only, right? And chatbots are the part of natural language processing. Okay. So Google Dialogflow, the earlier name, or we can say Google Dialogflow generally called as API.ai. Earlier it was called as API.ai. So Dialogflow is a natural language understanding platform, right, which is provided by Google, and that makes it easy to design and integrate conversational user interface into your mobile app or web application or device or bot or interactive voice response system and so on. There are different ways with the help of which you can go and you can integrate your chatbots. There is something called as Microsoft Lewis bot or Microsoft bot builder with Lewis. This one is provided by Google, right? This one is provided by Microsoft, right? And yes, Microsoft Lewis is also one of the frameworks which is available to develop the chatbots, right? Azure bot service enables you to build intelligent enterprise grade bots with ownership and control of your data, right? And there is something which is provided by Amazon, that is Amazon Lex. Many of you might have heard about it. This is also a framework which one can make use of to develop the chatbots. So Amazon Lex is a service for building conversational interfaces into any application using voice as well as text, right? So again, it all depends whether you want to make use of Google Dialogflow or Microsoft Lewis bot, or you want to make use of Amazon Lex. It all depends on what type of functionality you want, right? But if you understand any one of them, understanding the others is going to become easy. It's not that much difficult. Now let's try to talk about something called as Rasa. So this Rasa is a bit different from all of others. It is different from others because in case of Rasa, uh, coding is required, more coding is required. So Rasa provides infrastructure and tools necessary for high performing, resilient, proprietary, and contextual assistance that work. But remember, this is what is required more in case of Rasa, and that's how generally people they will go with Amazon or they will go with Google Dialog. And obviously, there is something called as Vid.ai, which is actually provided by Facebook. So Vid.ai makes it easy for developers to build applications and devices that you can talk or text to. And that is nothing but your chatbot, right? So these are some of the basic frameworks which are available for developing the chatbot. In my case, I have the chatbots developed with all these frameworks. Four frameworks actually: Google Dialogflow, Microsoft Lewis, Amazon Lex, and Rasa. So I generally make use of these four frameworks to develop the chatbots. In this case, in these sessions, we are going to make use of Google Dialogflow to develop the chatbot. Those people who will be interested to develop the chatbot with the help of Microsoft Lewis or Amazon Lex and Rasa, definitely I'll share the code if you want, if you are interested. No problem. Okay. So for this session, I am going to make use of Google Dialogflow. Let's move forward and let's see what is needed for understanding the chatbot. So Google Dialogflow. So Dialogflow, as I told you, it's a natural language understanding platform that makes it easy to design and integrate conversational interface into mobile app, web application, device, bot, interactive voice response system, and so on. Right. Let me straightforward start with the implementation so that you will understand. So till now we have seen the definition of a chatbot. We have seen the different types of the chatbots which are available. We have seen different platforms which are available for developing the chatbots. Okay. So those people who are raising hands, if you have any doubt in between, just put your question in the chat box. No problem. Okay. So now, as we have seen all those basic things, and I hope you have gone through this particular document, these are the steps which are given to develop the chatbot. But along with this, you are going to require a code also, right? So those who try it out, definitely you people will understand better, definitely. But those who did not try anything till now, don't worry. just need to have some patience, wait for some time, and then try out the things whatever I'm trying to discuss here. Just try out all the things on your own. Okay, and then you get, if you get difficulty, you can ask. Okay, now first step. So as I told you, in my case, or in general, there are different platforms to develop the chatbots. So generally, as you people are able to see, you can check it here. Show you. Now see, there are four folders in my case. Here, chatbot using Google Dialogflow. This is what we are going to do. But you can go and you can develop the chatbot using Microsoft Fluis, Amazon Lex, and Rasa NLE. That is also possible. This one you people are already having. This folder, all of you are having. Okay, this Google Dialogflow chatbot master folder, everybody is having. That's what I know. Right now, first step first, what you need to do is to develop the chatbot. Now, here we are going to implement one problem statement. We are going to create a chatbot to solve some problem, right? Maybe suppose if a customer comes to you and customer asks you to develop a chatbot for solving this problem. So here we need to develop such a chatbot which is going to be answering the questions or the queries of the customers, right? I will try to talk about that particular problem statement also, but first of all, let me show you how to proceed with creating the chatbot. So first thing, you need to go to dialogflow.com, right? So I will go to the browser. Okay, and, let me go and see. I am going to dialogflow.com. So I'm dialogflow.cloud.google.com. Just enter here. Now, obviously, if you have a Google account, you will be able to uh, get here and you will be able to get all the things whatever I am showing. Now, let me tell you. So what I have done is I already have a chatbot. How it is already created, because see, whenever I want to create a chatbot, I need to write down training phrases. I need to write down the answers or the responses for those training phrases. That is questions and answers. So instead of that, what I have done is I already created the chatbot here. How this is created, that's what I am going to tell you. So we will move to this particular account once I show you how to start with from the scratch. So what I will do is, in this case, whatever you are able to see, right now do not worry about this. I will tell you what are all these things. If you remember, there is a word called as intents, there is a word called as entities in the definition of a chatbot. This is what we need to understand. So actually, whatever, so inside the Google Dialogflow, right? I'm on dialogflow.com. I just clicked on that link and I am here. Okay. So we need to see what are all these things. So whatever you are able to see on the left side here, whatever you are able to see, these left hand side elements can be used to create and customize the chatbots. So we can go and we can create and customize the chatbot with the help of this left hand side elements, all these elements whatever you are able to see here. And once your chatbot is created, and if you want to test your chatbot, you can make use of this particular thing right now. So where you can pass audio input as well as text input, both of them they are possible. That's why I told you that whether it's a audio to text or even your input can be directly into text, that's also possible. So there are some applications which is going to take care for it, and we will see that. Okay, so whatever you are able to see here on the right side, you can use it to test your bot or chatbot, whatever you will create. Right now, how to create all these things? Let me show you that. So what for that, what I will do is I will just try to log out from this account in which I have created the chatbot, because this is already created. We will come to this one later on, right? So I will just log out of this. Now what I will do is I will come to where you people are, right? I will just sign in. Now it is going to ask me with which account I want to sign in. So I will try to sign in with such an account. In my case, you can see there are different accounts which are available. So I think from my account, I already created the chatbot. From this account also, I have created the chatbot. Let me go and try to see this particular account. This is one extra account I have created where I did not create the chatbot, which is going to be from the scratch, I can say. So let me see, this is what you people also be able to see, right? I hope those who tried out or those who are trying out, definitely you people are also able to see this kind of a window, right? Or maybe it might be asking you to accept something, to accept terms and conditions. So you just click on the accept and say okay. That's it. Now see what is this. Now on the left side, you are not able to see anything, right? So this is the starting point to create the chatbot. Now see, I hope everyone is able to see one option here which is available in the Google Dialogflow. See, what is Google Dialogflow? It's a framework. It can be used to create a chatbot. That is one way to create the chatbot. There are other ways also. So all of you, I hope you are able to see something called as create agent. Now this is very, very important. This is the starting point. Sorry. This is the starting point of creating the chatbot. Let me show you what we can do with the help of that. First of all, let's try to talk about what do you understand by the term agent. Let me tell you in simple words what is agent. So an agent is actually, I can say an agent is your actual chatbot. This is your actual chatbot. Or agent is your actual chatbot application, I can say. Whenever you are going to create a new chatbot application using Google Dialogflow, you are actually going to create an agent. Try to understand. Okay, whenever you are trying to create a chatbot application, it means that you are actually trying to create an agent. That's why I told you this is the starting point of a chatbot application. Let me show you how to create the agent. So see, just go here and click on this. See, after this, we are going to make use of a Python code also. That's why I told you that just have some patience. We will try to discuss all the things one by one. So you people need to be there for the complete session, both of the sessions, right? And then only you'll be able to understand all these things completely. Right. Now see here, earlier I have given some names. So what I will do is I will give some name to this particular agent. Suppose I will give a name as maybe WPU 789. Okay, this name I have given. Now let me click on create. So once I click on create, it should be done. And once it is done, I should be able to see the options. Let me check. Okay. So it is working as I hope you people are able to see. It is still working. It should show me as done. And then I should be able to see some more options. And those are the options which we are going to talk about now. So what I will be doing is I will be explaining you what do you mean by intent, right? Now see, it has shown me done. I hope everyone is able to see. Now this is done. Okay. Now after that, you will be able to observe that particular name. That is WPU789 here. Right? So as per given in the document, in that PDF file, those people have gone through. No, Parimal Dani, you are asking that are we supposed to add our card details? Because I can see just one option of try for free. See, you can make use of all these things for free. You can make use of Google Dialogflow for free. Definitely. What you need to do for that is you need to, when we will discuss about something called as fulfillment, at that time you will come to know how to make use of this one as a free. No need to have card details. Parimal, are you getting it? No need to give your card details here. It will be free. And even if you give your card details, no one is going to debit the money from that. Do not worry about that. Because see, I have created without giving any card details. Are you getting my point? I hope you got my point, Parimal, right? Just let me know if you have any difficulty after that. So all of you, let me just tell you that it is not going to charge any money because I have been using it. I have already used it. Even if it is asking you for card details, you can go and you can give it, but there will be no money which is going to be debited from your account. Don't worry about that. In my case, I did not give any card details. Right. Now here WPU 789 you are able to see. So what you can do is now you just try to see. Once I created the agent, now I'm able to see all these elements on the left side. Right. So these are the elements which are going to help us which are going to help us to create the chatbot. So let's see one by one. I told you, I talked about agent. Our agent name is WPU789, right? This is what our agent is. I told you that agent is your actual chatbot application, and whenever you are going to create a new chatbot application using Dialogflow, you are actually going to create an agent. Let me talk about, in a short, let me talk about other terms. Intents. Now, what do you mean by intent? So see, uh, by default, Google Dialogflow creates two intents in your chatbots, right? So as you can see here, default fallback intent is the first and default welcome intent. So these are the two intents Google Dialogflow creates by default. What is intent? So let me tell you what this one will do. The first intent will be default, as I told you, right? And second intent will be first intent will be default, that is welcome, and second intent will be fallback. So what these two intents are going to do? Because based on that only chatbot is going to work. Let's see. So remember, there are two types of intents which Google Developer provides. One is called as fallback intent and another one is called as default welcome intent. Now, what this intent or intents signifies? So, intent signifies the intention of the conversation. What is the intention? What is the purpose of the conversation? Right? The word itself tells you what is this intent is. So, it signifies the intention of the conversation. For example, if someone is writing the phrases like hi, someone is writing the phrases like hello, or maybe something like hey, yeah, right, what's up, something like this. If you people are writing down all these phrases, so here intention is to greet the person, right? What is the intention here? The intention is to greet the person, or maybe to welcome the person to a conversation. And this is where your default welcome intent is going to come into picture, right? This default welcome intent is going to come into picture, right? So by default, Google has trained those intents to accept those kind of starting conversation utterances. For example, hi, hello, what's up, etc. Right? So all these things, if user says, then control will automatically come to the welcome intent. So suppose in a chatbot, if you are saying hi, control is automatically going to come to the welcome intent. Let me show you. For example, see, if I am typing here, if I am typing hi, okay, here I am typing hi and then just pressing enter button. Now let's see what it shows. So see what it is asking, what it is showing me. Hi, how are you doing? So from where I got this particular reply? I got this particular reply from default welcome intent. Let me click on this and let me see what is there. Now see, if you people have tried to create some models, machine learning models, you might be knowing that whenever we want to create a model in machine learning, what we need to do is we need to split our data into training and testing. And training data is data which actually helps our model to train. So it is something like something similar to that. So you can see these are the training phrases which are by default given by Google. You can see here something like just going to say hi, hey, yeah, hello, hi, howdy, hey there, hi there, greetings. So if I go and if I try to type any one of these, I am going to get reply like this. Some of the replies. Which reply I am going to get? So here I got hi, how are you doing? So here you can see there are some responses by default. See, hi, how are you doing? Hello, how can I help you? Good day, what can I do for you today? Greetings, how can I assist? So these are some of the responses which are by default given by the Google. So it is like a training data. So in short, what is the meaning of this? In short, these are the questions I can say, right? And the answers are this, right? Suppose if I go and if I try to test it like this. Maybe suppose if I write down hello and press enter, now I will get some reply. But that reply is what? Good day. What can I do for you today? So from where I got this reply? I got this reply from the responses. So yes, you can check here. If I try to show it to you, see, good day. What can I do for you today? So randomly you can get any one of this. Whatever many number of responses you are trying to put here, some of the responses you are going to get, and those are default responses. So when I will talk about deploying your chatbot onto maybe on web page or maybe on Telegram, at that time you will see there will be some options which are added here. Right? So instead of default reply, we can go and we can have some other replies, custom replies also. That's also possible. That's what we want to actually try to understand. So that's what we will try to understand actually, and then we will see how to develop the chatbot. So this is starting. See, this is again a chatbot. It is replying by default, right? It is replying automatically. So how it is able to reply me? It is able to reply me depending on the intents. So there are two types of intents. which are provided by Google Dialogflow. One is called as default welcome intent and another one is called as default fallback intent. I hope you people are able to understand what we mean by default welcome intent. So it is something which is going to help to start the conversation, right? Suppose if you say good morning, so obviously the person who is there, another person obviously he will also say hi or good morning, something like that, right? So that is because of the default intent that the chatbot is able to reply you back if it gets these kinds of sentences, right? So by default Google has trained these intents to accept those kind of starting conversation utterances like hi, hello, what's up. So all these things if user says, then control will automatically come to this particular intent. That's what I told you till now. So you can also design your custom intent, right? For example, based on the intention of the customer, right, what they are willing to ask, or what is the query that they are facing, based on that there can be several instances which can be possible. So for that what you can do, you can go and you can have your custom intents possible. You can design your custom intents. That's also possible for sure, right? So for example, let's say we are building a chatbot which talks about weather of a particular city. So what I will do is I will try to show you a very simple chatbot here which gives you an information about weather of a city, right? So weather of a particular city. Okay. So we will try to design a chatbot with the help of intent and all those elements which are shown on the left side. Okay. So so that you will get the meaning of all those things. What is intent? What is entities? And what is knowledge base? And all those things and how to make use of that. Right. For example, let's say we are building a chatbot which talks about weather of a particular city. So for that we have to create a weather intent. So what I will do is I will just go here. So I already clicked on intent, right? I already clicked on intent. I will go and I will try to create a intent. I clicked on create intent now. This is how one can create an intent. Let me show you. What I will do now is I will give some training phrases for this particular intent, and based on that it is going to answer the question. For example, see here, you can see there is something called as training phases and there is something called as responses, right? So let me just if people are not able to see that, see, I clicked on create intent. Now I'm able to see training phases. This is the one thing which we are going to make use of, and another thing is nothing but responses. Okay. So see, what I will do is I will first of all give the name to the intent here. So here, suppose the name of my intent is maybe weather underscore WPU. Okay, weather underscore WPU. This is the name of my intent. Now click on save. Okay, so it will create an intent. See, it has created weather underscore WPU. Now what I will do is so see, or what I can say is, as we want to create a chatbot which is going to help us to know about the weather of a particular city. So for that, we have to create a weather intent, and in that we will give answers to the questions. Like maybe for example, like what is the weather, or if someone asks you what is the weather, our chatbot should be able to answer that. Or if someone asks, tell me about the weather of Pune, our chatbot should be able to answer that. Or tell me about the weather of Washington, Mumbai. All these things a person can say. So as we created the intent with this weather underscore WPU, now what we will do is we will use some training phrases to the intent. So what I will do, I will click on this add training phrases. Okay. Now once I clicked on that, I am able to see add user expression. Right? Add user expression. So what I will do is, suppose I will add some questions. See, I am typing here, right? Suppose I am asking a question. How is the weather? Right? So these are the questions or these are the phrases which we are giving. Right? Maybe next one I am trying to ask is something else. Suppose tell me about the weather. Right? Because people can ask in different ways. Tell me about the weather. Okay, that is one thing. Let me go and let me try to check whether I can add. Okay, okay, let me say okay. If I go here, this is what my first training page is. Two training pages I have added. Let me add something like how is the weather, okay, or maybe suppose what is the weather, something like this. Randomly, I'm just trying to give some training pages here. Now, once this is done, what I will do is I will provide some responses. So just drop down here and try to check responses. In responses, what I can do is I can click on this, okay, and add the responses. So click on add responses, text responses, go here. Suppose here I will add a phrase like weather is excellent. This is one thing. Or I will add it's a good weather. Or maybe something like it's cool. Something like this. So these three responses I have given. Now what I will do is I will save this. Okay, see, first of all, we will try to see how all these things are working here itself in Google Dialogflow. And then we will make use of third-party softwares so that we will be able to understand there itself what actually is happening and how our chatbot is able to answer all the questions. Right. So here, now, suppose I want to, okay, let me check it. Is it not saved? Okay, done. Now let me check. Suppose if I say, what is the weather? And press enter. Now see, just try to observe, it has given us a reply. It has given us the reply as it's a good weather. So from where it came to know that it should reply us like this. So it came to know from this phrases and it replied with this one. It's a good weather, right? Suppose, what is another question I put? Suppose, tell me about the weather, right? See, whatever the questions, whatever the, what you can say, uh, training phrases and the responses, whatever you are going to give, according to that only your chatbot is going to reply to you. So try to understand that. Okay? So it is nothing like automatic. We are actually training it. So tell me about the weather and press enter. Okay. So see, it has replied. It's a good weather. Now from where it came to, it should reply like this because we have given the phrase or we are given the response like this. So see, that's what the advantage of Google Dialogflow. You can create the chatbot here itself and test it here itself. How to give a audio input, that also I will tell you that one once we will implement our project. Okay. So I hope you people are able to understand what do you mean by intent. Okay. And now we will try to talk about all the other terms also, and then we will talk about the problem treatment itself, right? I hope everyone is aware about what is agent, what is intent. Now we will see the remaining terms. All these things we are going to require. Entities, knowledge base, and then fulfillment and the integrations. Again, we are going to implement that, right? I hope everyone is clear till this point. So here we created a simple chatbot, you can say, which is going to help us to answer some of the queries. But there is some problem here. Let me talk about that particular thing also. Suppose if I am asking something like maybe suppose what is the weather in Pune? Okay, let me type this. Press enter. Okay, so see it is replying like this. It is excellent. Okay. Now if I go and if I try to type like Pune and enter. Now see what it is doing. It is asking me one more time. Suppose if I type something like who are you? So what it is saying? Sorry, can you say that again? So what is this? These are some of the exception scenarios, right? So suppose if you are asking such a questions for which the chatbot is not actually trained, like this is what is going to happen, right? So what will actually say that okay? sorry, can you say that again, or it will say that please rephrase it, or one more time, or couldn't understand, and so on. So if you, right, and this kind of a thing even we experience in real life scenarios also, right? Same thing happens in real life also, but we never abruptly stop the conversation. Rather, I will say that, or we say, can you please say that particular thing once again? If there is a conversation going on between two people, and if one person is not able to understand what other person is saying, what we generally do is we actually try to ask them once again. This is what happens, right? So it is, there are some exceptions in case of chatbots also. So and that's where another type of intent which is going to come into picture, and that is called as callback intent. So whatever we have seen, that was about, first of all, we have seen about default welcome intent, and whenever there are some exception scenarios, that's where this fallback intent is going to come into picture, right? So what if there is an exception? What our chatbot should do? That will be taken care by fallback intent. So fallback intent is just like the exception block of your code, right? It is going to handle the exceptions, I can say. So whenever none of the intent matches the user, whatever the user has given, or none of the intent matches the user's query using which you have not trained your bot, in that case your default fallback intent will be called, and it will ask the user to say that particular phrase, or it is going to ask the user to say that again or rephrase it, right? So we haven't given any specific, in our case, if you see, in our case, if you try to see carefully, this is the intent which we created, right? Whether underscore wpu, this is the intent which we have created. Okay. Now, but in this intent, we haven't given any city name particularly. Whenever I was writing down Pune, see, I am writing down NUMBE, suppose Mumbai, and then enter. No, what it is replying? Sorry, what's that? What was that? It is not able to understand because we did not train it, right? Even here also, you can see in the training phrases, we will not be able to see a name of any city. So if you go and if you try to train it like that, definitely our chatbot is going to identify that one also. Now see, as we haven't given any specific city name in our weather intent, right? Weather underscore WPU intent, this one. So it is not able to identify what is Mumbai, what is Pune, or what is any city name, right? So how to do that, or how will we make understand our bot that this word is a city name, Pune is a city name, Washington is a city name, or Mumbai is a city name? How are we going to tell our chatbot that, or make our chatbot understand that city name? That's what we want to see. Okay, so for that there is something called as uh, parameters and actions. That's what we are going to see now. See, if I click on intent, if I say okay, let me get back. Now here you are able to see training phases, and then there is something called as action and parameters. So whenever you want your chatbot to understand that okay, Pune is a city name, Mumbai is a city name, or Washington is a city name, or Denver is a city name, we can make use of some actions and parameters. It's like a data type. I will try to make use of that, and I will show you what is that. See, what I will do is I will click on this add parameters, action and parameters. Okay. Now here enter the name. So parameter name. So it is asking me to enter the parameter name. So what I will do is I will give the parameter name as city underscore name. It is just a variable. Okay. Then it is asking me to enter some entity. So there are different entities which are provided by Google Dialogflow. So if you press @sign, it is going to show you all the entities. So depending on your use, it has given you a lot of entities, right? So here what I want, here I want to identify, I want my chatbot to identify all the city names in the world. Whatever the cities which are in the world, I want my chatbot to identify them. So what I will do is I will use @sign sys dot, and it is going to show me all the other options. See, geo, and I want city. So what I will do is city US, city GB. So I want all the cities. So what I will do is sys dot geo dash, it is, yeah, city, this one. This is what I am going to make it of, because I want my chatbot to identify all the city names which are there in world. Okay. And so see, what is this one, city underscore name. So this parameter we can associate with an entity. There are many predefined entities in the dialog. For example, @sys.geocities is an entity. So let's say we use geocity for this because we are talking about city names in the world. So what is the advantage of using this entity? What is the advantage of using this kind of an entity? So because Google has predefined their model with all the city names which are present in the world, so we don't have to explicitly go ahead and give our own sample example. So if I just give a data type, it is like that. So this entity is similar to what see, whatever you are able to see. This particular thing is nothing but an entity name, right? So this entity name and one more topic we will talk about maybe, and that is called as entities. So this entity is exactly similar to this entity. So it is like what I can say is if it is like a data type I can say, right? Like we give the data type as a character, data type as a number. So exactly same thing actually we are trying to do. So what will happen because of this particular entity, right, which is default entity which is available in case of Google Dialogflow, our chatbot will be able to identify okay whether if it's a Mumbai is nothing but city name, right? So those this particular entity whatever we are using and the element entities both of them they are actually set. So this particular entity is having similar to it is actually similar to data type is having actually data type only. So I can say so this entity is having similar to data type, and here if we have provided the data type as sys dot sys.geo dash city, right? For example, just assume that this as a data type, right? So a dialog flow can easily understand that the name that we are expecting in city underscore name, right? So if you are giving the entity like this, so it means that dialog flow understand that we are expecting whatever the name we are expecting in this one, city underscore name variable, it is going to be the name of the city. So because of this, it understands, try to understand that, right? And by default, if it is not entered, right? So what I can do is, suppose user is not entering the name of the city. What we can do is we can ask user to enter the name. What I want to say is, by default, if it is not entered, so I can mark it as required here, right? So you can just go and mark it as required like this, okay? And Dialogflow will do a prompt. Maybe prompt means what? You can go and you can actually see default value it is asking. If I go here, let me uncheck it. If I go here and if I try to type maybe something like dollar city underscore name, okay, I go here. So what happens is later on when we will try to talk about prompts also, but from here also you can give prompt. For example, if I am marking it as required and if user is not entering the city name, so our chatbot is going to ask user something that is nothing but the prompt. So I will say, please enter the city name. That means what? That means if user is not entering the city name, we are actually prompting user that please enter the city name. And let me just close this, okay, and let me save it, okay. And now let's see what happens if it takes the chatbot. If I go here and if I try to type what is weather and press enter. Now see what it is asking. Please enter the city name because we have given it like this, right? Suppose if I go and if I try to enter the city name as Mumbai and then enter. Now see, it is not showing me that what is this or what is that. It is just replying me that it's good. If I go here and if I try to type Pune, because it is identifying. Okay, see why it is doing it like this because we need to enter the question first, right? If I ask it what is the weather, right? Go here, it will ask me please enter the city name and then go and try to type the name of the city. Now see, it's replying it's good weather. So it is possible because of this action and parameters. So try to understand. Okay, this is a very simple thing we tried out here, but yes, also it's also a very basic chatbot I can say, which is replying you based on what training phrases, right? And how to integrate this one with other application, the code which I have shown you in the Python, the code which you people are already having That code also you can make use of. That's what I will be showing you, and I'll be showing you how to integrate this particular chatbot on Telegram. I will show you how you people will be able to make use of my chatbot on your mobile phones. All those things we actually need to understand, but yes, these basic things were also very important. That's why I just try to talk about them, right? So see, as we have given the value as $city underscore name, so it's like it is going to accept that particular variable, right? And generally we give some value for that. So we have actually made this as a required, and now we need to make changes to our training phases. So if you go and try to see the training phases, so if I go and if I try to check here, I will type what is the weather in Mumbai, right, and save it. So I will try to change it like this. Tell me about the weather in Mumbai. So I am just trying to make changes in the training phases. So what will happen if I go here and if I try to double click on this? Now see, it is going to show me all these things. How is it possible? Because as we have used these actions and parameters, now our bot is able to understand that okay, Mumbai is nothing but a city name. That's why see it is highlighting. As and when I went here and I am double clicking on this, it is showing me all these entities. Right? Why? Because now it understands that okay, Mumbai is a city name, Pune is a city name, right? So if I go and if I try to ask it, so let me save it and let me ask it something like maybe what is the weather in Pune? Let me see. Okay, now see, it is asking me the question. Same thing. I go and if I try to so and but if I ask it like this, let me instead of this Pune, let me try it out with Mumbai. Again, it is going to ask me because that's what we have given, right? You go and you because it is identifying the names. See, so it has replied us with the help of these phrases, these responses, whatever we have given, all the responses. So after that, so I hope everyone is able to understand what is agent, what is intent, right? And what are the entities. All these three things we are able to. I hope everyone is able to understand. Right. After this, we need to talk about some other concepts. Like we will be talking about fulfillment. So what I'll be doing is I'll be directly showing the project, the chatbot which I have developed, right? And we will try to make sense out of that particular chatbot, and then we will deploy it onto what we can say. Then we can go and we can deploy it onto Telegram, right? Yes. I have, see, people, I have already sent you a document, right? So I was hoping that you people must have gone through the document. It's not a difficult thing, but whatever the last product you will see out of this, it will be really interesting. That's why I'm asking you people to have some patience, try to observe whatever I am trying to do. Even if you are not able to do it right now, but give it some time, let the session over. And once it is over, whatever the material I have given you, just try it out and follow the video, follow this particular video. Definitely you'll be able to create your own chatbots with the help of different platforms, that is for sure. Okay. So I hope till this point everyone is clear. If anyone is having any question, you can just put your question in the chat box. So maybe as we are done with these things, maybe remaining things we will see in the next session. I hope I will stay. Maybe I will talk about directly start with the project in the next session, and we will try to see how we implemented it and how you people can make use of that project. We will try to see that in the next session. If anyone any question, just put your question in the chat box. Okay. So I hope it's time for your break. Madam, are you there? Just let me know.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, madam, we can have a break for then, and maybe
Okay.
we will
Fine.
continue in the next session.
Okay, students. So we'll meet after Babana from now. Okay,
Yes.
it's 12:50 and we'll start for the second session at sharp 1:50. Okay.